Before any of that, though, boys, how are you both?
I'm good until you made that intro with the agenda against Manchester United. Oh,
It's
God.
terrible.
There's no need.
There's,
There is no need for an agenda against Man United, Terry. Now you're just shit. So why would I need to do an agenda against a club that's just dog shit anyway? You get me? We don't need an agenda for a club that's 15th. You know,
Yes, you
it's
do.
not like we have to stop you. You're 15th.
You know that ChatGPT thinks that Man United will finish in the top 6 next season. Like, actually, they will challenge for top 4. That's actually ridiculous.
But that's
Looking
not
at the rumors,
ridiculous. It's not, because they have one game a week and they have a team that's good enough to finish in the top.
So you really think like they can actually challenge for like European places next season after being 15? That would be the biggest jump.
But when you say about the biggest jump, we all know deep down that Man United are not the 15th worst team in the league and Spurs are not the 17th worst team in the league. So I know for a fact that they're going to improve next season. So it's just the reality.
But they finished 15th. So it's either Amorim is shit or the players are shit. Like,
yeah, but remember, me and you had this conversation before about finishing where you finish, and I used Liverpool as an example. The season where we finished 5th, we still went to the next season and challenged for the league. So it's not always where you finish in the Premier League table that matters in terms of like how bad your club is, because we all know, if we're being completely honest deep down, that Man United are not the 15th worst team in the league, and I expect them to be better next season with a fresh season, fresh ideas, fresh players. You know, some of the players that they've been linked with will only make them better. So yeah, I don't expect them to be as bad.
I think Amorim will have a fresh start. I actually think if they get him the players they're linked to, like Mbuemo, Cunha, and maybe Eucharist or a striker. I know that people say he rejected Man United, but literally Arsenal rejected him. So you'll have to beg Man United to take him again. If they get these 3 players, along with the midfield they have, with the wing backs like Amad Diallo, like with the defenders they have, I genuinely think that Ruben Amorim will have a fresh start. Like, game 1 in the season, it will be Amorim's first game. And if he actually get that game, which is the fixtures were released, they're going to play Arsenal at home at Old Trafford. If they get a result like a draw or a win or something, I genuinely think fans will forget about what happened last season and they will have a fresh start. And Amorim will have his ideas. It will be like Amorim was just appointed with a preseason. But it's all about Man United getting the business done, getting in Cunha, getting Eucharist. Like, if they get people, but you said the mentality at Man United is shit. Yes, but normally when you get 3 new players in the front line, you're basically, Hussam is the one who actually said that, and he's absolutely right. He said it sparks something different in the dressing room. Players look around and say, oh, we have a new front line. Maybe we can do something. The mentality shift will be right away from our losers to, listen, we have a spark up top. Maybe we can do something different.
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
forget about what happened last season. And
that's exactly why I'm telling you that we all know that deep down, Man United are not the 15th worst team in the league. Because guess what? Me and Terry actually had this argument, and I'm arguing for Man United here. But I said this before. I think that the table sometimes does lie. I'm sorry, because it's just
not last season. Last season, Man United played like the 15th worst team in the league.
I look at Man United, okay? There is no way Man United have the 15th worst squad or the 15th worst starting 11 or the 15th worst manager. They don't, right? So that's why when you say about ChatGPT is predicting that Man United are going to be a lot better next season. Well, guess what? I agree with ChatGPT. I do think Man United will be a lot better next season because they're not this bad. I don't see them as this bad anyway. So I agree that they're going to be better. And that's
can I just sorry,
add something to us. All the stats and the metrics have actually pointed that Man United are the 15th team in the league with the team that they had last season, with the way they played. Like,
Mo, you're just being disingenuous and ignoring my point completely.
I know what you're talking about. They are in the 15th worst team in the league, but they played like one.
I'm not mentioning stats and metrics.
I get all that, but back to the original point, which was around the agenda against United. Everything you boys have just said is why there is an agenda. Okay. So you do that again. Man United, 15th worst team in the league last year, but still were the most viewed team in the Premier League. That's just a fact. And the Premier League know that they my personal opinion about these fixtures. Now, all of us have to play each other twice. So there is.
What do you mean the most viewed? You were the most viewed team.
Man United. More people watched Man United games last season than any other club.
Maybe because the club is a clown and everyone wants to watch the clown.
I hate watching.
Entertainment. It's hate watching.
Okay. So if I could finish, I understand your point, but you and I and all of us, we had this conversation privately, and we had it on streams as well. We all saw a massive difference in the people tuning into our shows and match reactions and interacting with content, because football fans, by and large, last season got bored of the campaign. It became boring. I don't believe Chelsea fans who stopped watching the games, City fans who stopped watching, Arsenal fans who stopped watching, decided in the middle of a Sunday to go, do you know what? I'm not watching my team. I'm not watching football at the minute. I'm disengaged. I'm not doing content or watching content. But do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tune in to laugh at Man United. People did at the beginning laugh at United, but they got bored of. You came on here yourself, Hassan, multiple times going, I can't even laugh anymore because it's gone beyond that. So United are always the most viewed team in the Premier League. And the reason why I think that is significant, and it's similar with Arsenal, I do think these fixtures, I do not believe that United and Arsenal having to play 3 to 4 members of the traditional top 6 and or Newcastle in the opening 6 games versus Chelsea, Liverpool and City that play out of their opening 6 games, they're playing 4 to 5 mid-table to relegation teams. Now, we all have to play each other at some point in the league, so it's all fair in that regard. But the start of the season, I think the Premier League, and I believe this, they like to add drama. So you get United versus Arsenal, first game of the season. They're going to get to rip into one of those teams during that game. You give them both difficult starts. You potentially set up an agenda, which is, wow, Man United have turned a corner. Wow, Arsenal won 5 of their opening 6 games against big teams. They could really win the league. You also set it up for if they walk away with a 40%, a 50% win ratio, it's, disaster. Look how many points they are away from the league title. Or from a United perspective, if we lose a few of the opening games, well, Amarin's got to go. I am not surprised. I've been saying it for weeks that the biggest game of the opening weekend would either be United or Arsenal. In fact, it's both. They've given it to us. And I also said on multiple streams that United and Arsenal start to the season would be the most difficult of anybody's by a country mile when it's happened, because I believe that the Premier League has become predictable in how it runs its agendas. And I get why they picked Man United and Arsenal, because our 2 clubs have got the biggest stories with the biggest fan bases behind us for the beginning of the season. Liverpool fans are happy because of what they've signed, their champions. Look, City fell off last year and barely got any criticism, so they're not going to get any if they start the season badly. And Chelsea ended the season well, and are at the Club World Cup. But for Man United and for Arsenal, they're setting it up ready to either. By the way, it does work in terms of praising us if we do well. It isn't just about setting us up for failure, but I believe those opening fixtures have been created so that they can spin a massive narrative. I really believe that.
Okay, can I respond now with facts?
He really said agenda.
Momo, there's no need for us to shout. 1 second. So Liverpool are the first kick off the season against Bournemouth. Then we go to St. James's Park. Then we play Arsenal at home. Burnley, fair enough. Then we have the Merseyside derby against Everton. Then we go to Crystal Palace away.
Okay, so let me explain that to you then. Okay, so
yes, Chelsea away.
Games
hang on. So first game's Bournemouth at home. You always beat Bournemouth. They're a mid-table team.
Here we go.
Okay, Bournemouth are a mid-table team every year. You then play Newcastle. That's tough. I'll give you that. Who else you play?
Arsenal.
So that's really tough. Home or away?
Arsenal away. Still tough game.
Home.
Very
okay,
tough.
That's a tough game. What's your next 3 games?
Okay, Burnley is easy. Everton is not easy because it's a derby.
Okay. So this is where I'm going to disagree with you. When was the last time that how many times in the last 25 years have Everton took points off you at Anfield?
Oh, I'm sure they've done that plenty of times. If we're talking about take points, like if we're talking about even getting a draw, they have done.
I think they've barely taken a point off you, and they never beat you. Easy game. They're a relegation side. Who's after that?
Crystal Palace away.
There's no derby game that's easy. I keep my energy consistent.
So again, that's not.
Palace away is not easy either.
No one's ever going to have a
complete... talking about Opta actually did the stats. Liverpool have the hardest first 10 games. That's not Mo. That's not Osam.
No, that's Opta.
But Opta said Man United and Arsenal got the hardest opening 6 games.
Yeah, but the 10 games.
Everybody is going to play each other. So that element is fair. My point is the Premier League like to start the season off and they want a little bit of spice. So they don't want to be giving Arsenal and Man United no easy run to begin with or 3 or 4 easy games in their opening 6. They want 4 or 5 out of that opening 5 to 6 to be hard. So they can either create, and by the way, I've said positive or negative. People are missing the positive bit. Man United start well and say win 4 of our opening 5 games, it'll be fucking hell. They could do something. They'll create an agenda like we could go on and win the league. Arsenal similarly. It's about creating agendas. I don't believe the fixtures are 110% completely computer generated. I don't believe it. I believe there's agendas within it. You sometimes see it with the games near the end of the season. Oh, it's convenient. That's the third from last clash. The teams that are meant to be in title races. I always think there's a bit of a plant in them. Always do.
So you think they give Chelsea the easier fixtures, like on purpose? For what reason?
Not on purpose with everybody, because you're going to do. I think they pick a handful of teams. Like last season, there was a what game was it late? It might have been the year before. It was a late game between Arsenal and City because it was expected to be like a title race decider, and you just think, well, that's just convenient. That's ended up being right near the end when the two teams predicted to be in the title race. I just don't think the fixture list is completely random. Personally, I think the Premier League like to create agendas. Like the last few seasons, when United and Arsenal were struggling, they went from doing it to Arsenal to doing it to Man United. It was like, let's give the opening Friday night game to a team that was struggling last year to see if they'll lose on the opening
but now
game.
Liverpool have the opening Friday night game. So
because they've given that they've done Man United Arsenal as the big hit of that weekend. That's why. Otherwise, it would have been one of us that was first. It was so obvious it was going to be Man United and Arsenal were always going to be the biggest draw of that.
I think you're whining for no reason because everyone has to play everyone anyway, and this is just pointless. By the way, I could even sit up here and say when Mo's going away to AFCON, we're going to have to go to Arsenal away. I can bring up so many different things. We have the Arsenal away fixture and the Everton away fixture when Mo is away at AFCON.
But I've already said that. I'm not saying anyone's got an easy start. Chelsea's is fairly easy, to be fair.
Yeah, Chelsea's the only one where you can claim it's easy.
And I've already said, Hassan, to your argument that everybody plays everybody. I'm talking about they're not trying to set us up to foul for the whole season. That isn't the claim. My view is I think the Premier League looks at the backstories of clubs. They know the Arteta out movement is teetering. They start. You said it yourself. If Arsenal lose their opening game, the whole season falls off. So if your own logic is true, why wouldn't the Premier League go, fucking hell, let's throw, if your world exists, which you believe it does, let's throw Arsenal a really hard start to the season because we know their fans, it's a tinderbox and one little spark could light it. Man United are the same. If we don't get a good start, every United fan has said the manager's going to struggle to go. So let's give United a hard start to see if we can get that agenda going. I'm not claiming that it's making our season harder than yours, because if you get through those hard games with good results, you then get a run of easier games, which gives you a boost, as I've said. But I believe it's about the agenda for the media agenda that the Premier League likes to push, the story for the beginning. The two clubs whose managers are under the most pressure, it's just so convenient. They've got the most difficult opening 4 to 5 games before the international break. For me, it's not a coincidence at all.
To be honest, I'm just going to tell you something. Arsenal must do their business. They actually, okay, I can just say something. Nottingham Forest, they play them at home. Man City, they play them at home. You know what I mean? Like, Arsenal have been given these teams as well to be playing at home, which is fine. Like, I think maybe I'll agree with you that there is a narrative to be created. For Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City, it shouldn't matter. Go do your business, your Premier League contenders, go win your games and prove everyone wrong. For Man United, maybe what you're saying has a touch of truth. But at the same time, I will believe that it's computer generated. I will believe that this is just luck. I believe that maybe Man United, by the way, any start for Man United would be tough because you were 15th, basically. You're playing tough teams in the beginning. Who are you playing after this? Like, I'm looking at your fixture.
I think the only one that objectively have a easy start is Chelsea. Other than that, we all have very tough fixtures.